What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Run In Podcast. I am your host, Big Mike. I hope everybody's doing well on this Tuesday, July 9th. Hope everybody's having a great day. A little bit of a special episode. We don't normally come in the middle of the week. I usually drop something on the weekends when I usually have a little more time. But I had the inspiration to do this. I've heard people mention it on Twitter to an extent. If you have been living under a rock, you probably haven't heard. Everybody else knows that John Cena came out on Saturday and announced that he is going to retire in the year 2025. One of the best wrestlers to ever do it. Definitely one of the most entertaining. Started out, as a rookie, coming out with the ruthless aggression and the prototype gimmick, which didn't last very long. Quickly transitioned into the Doctor of Thugonomics freestyle rapping gimmick, which really gained a lot of popularity, and then kind of transitioned into an all-American kind of, a lot of people like to call Super Cena gimmick, where he won a lot of matches where a lot of people didn't think he should. He was a little bit of controversy there. Always the super babyface good guy in the company, throughout the rest of his career. And it has been a career of about 20 years, a little bit more. And look, you're going to see a lot of people come through and do a lot of tributes of things that have happened in the past, things that, favorite matches and things like that. And we'll talk about some of that. I know I'm going to, on the Thursday Night Triple Threat podcast with Mr. U and Sped, myself, we are going to talk about some John Cena stuff, some of our favorite matches that he's done. There's plenty of time to get into that. But what I want to do with this special episode is we're going to kick off a new series for us as well. John Cena is going to kick off his farewell tour. We are going to kick off a new top 5 series. And this is going to be the top 5 farewell matches that I want to see from John Cena coming up in 2025. He is going to be doing about 30 to 40 dates. So he's going to give us a full year. There's tons of time for a lot of different opponents. But these are the 5 that I would really like to see him face for a multitude of reasons. And we'll get into the reasons to each one as we go. But these are the top 5 matches that I want to see from John Cena in 2025. Kicking off with number 5. That's right. You've got R-Truth and John Cena, but not as opponents, which is why this is number 5, because the rest of these will all be singles matches. I would want to see John Cena and R-Truth win the tag team titles. As everybody has seen, R-Truth has said every time he's in the wrestling ring, every time he does an interview, he always pays tribute to John Cena, because John Cena is his childhood hero, even though technically I think R-Truth is older than John Cena, which is always kind of funny. So I would like to see them in the record books together, have that tag team title run. That way it is always in history, etched forever, R-Truth and John Cena's names next to each other as a team, as champions, just to pay tribute to that. And I think not only that, I think they would provide some of the funniest promos in all of wrestling. R-Truth, I've said on a number of occasions, is literally the funniest guy in the professional wrestling business, not just WWE. But I don't know that I've seen anybody in any wrestling company that is any funnier than R-Truth. John Cena was hilarious with a lot of the freestyles. I know he doesn't do that a lot anymore. He could kind of bring that back with R-Truth, because R-Truth does rap as well. So I think that would be a really funny way to incorporate a lot of things, both with R-Truth and everything together. And it would just be entertaining as hell. So number 5, as we stated, is R-Truth and John Cena winning the tag team championships. As you can see, I would prefer it to be at WrestleMania and against the Judgment Day. I know R-Truth has had a lot of issues with the Judgment Day back and forth. So to him to come in and for have John Cena to come in against the Judgment Day to kind of solidify his split from the Judgment Day saga that he's had would, I think, just be hilarious. Next up, number 4. CM Punk. As everybody has seen that's watched wrestling for the last 20 years, and you heard CM Punk mention it during the press conference, you can't mention CM Punk's career without mentioning John Cena, and you can't mention John Cena's career without mentioning CM Punk. They go hand in hand. The summer of Punk, things like that, where they were going against each other. They've had a storied history in a lot of great matches together, back and forth. Again, the promos would be hilarious. Going against each other. John Cena, playing playing the character that he normally plays and then playing off CM Punk. I just think it would be hilarious to see them go at each other. Both of them are very good on the microphone. So I think they would have a lot of creativity, uh, a lot of great matches. Obviously, both of them are a little older. I don't want to see any titles or anything involved in it. It would just be a good one-off match, maybe at one of the big pay-per-views, like a SummerSlam, or even if you wanted to do this for one of the international crowds, just to give them some big match on one of the B pay-per-views, that would be really cool. Uh, but definitely having the callback to their rivalry. I'd say it's probably John Cena's. It's his top two rivals. There are two rivals that he's had for the most of his career, that are synonymous with John Cena. CM Punk is one, and we may or may not get to the other one here in a little bit. But definitely, I would love to see CM Punk come in, have a good match, have a nice program with him, get a lot of matches and promos in. Just it be entertaining as hell. Next up, number 3, we have the other one that we talked about. Oops, sorry about that. A little technical difficulty. Randy Orton. We'll get to it here soon enough. The other opponent that I've mentioned that was synonymous with John Cena is Randy Orton. They were actually in, I want to say it was FC. It was either OVW, FCW, one of the developmental territories around the same time. There's that famous class that came in that was like Randy Orton, John Cena, Brock Lesnar, Batista. All those guys were kind of in the same developmental territory for a little bit, and then kind of came up together. So they all kind of got their start around the same time. In him and Randy Orton, John Cena, that is, have had a ton of matches, have been, kind of linked together. Both of them, I think, are currently the most title wins I know currently, but they're in the top 5 title wins of all the WWE. Obviously, you have Ric Flair. Triple H is up there too, but I think he's right behind these guys. That would be a really good match. Again, I don't know that I would want to see a title with it. I think it would be really cool, again, just to have as a throwaway match at one of the big 4, or if you want to have, a special match for, maybe at a Madison Square Garden, just kind of the history of that, and then the history of those two guys as both of them are winding down their careers. I don't think Randy Orton's going to be along for that much longer either. So I don't think he's probably only got a few years left. So that would be a really cool way for John Cena to go out and give the fans a really cool match. And now I will say, I don't want any of these matches to be John's final match. The next 2 we have are people that I think he could face as his final match. A lot of legends in wrestling, you don't see it a whole lot now anymore because things have changed. But back in the day, you would hear a wrestler always needs to go out on his back, meaning that he needs to lose his last match to elevate a younger talent to a new height. And with the last 2, I think that's what we're going to try to do. It's 2 people that I would love to see him face, towards the end of this run, November, December, that kind of time, just to be able to put over a couple of younger talents and make them even bigger stars than they already are. Because let's face it, even John Cena's age, if you face John Cena and beat John Cena, that still gives you a rub that you wouldn't normally get otherwise. The first one of these 2, you guys may have heard of him, is Gunther. Obviously, Gunther is going to be in a huge program coming up. He's got a world title match coming up in SummerSlam in a couple of weeks. I personally think he will win that match and have a long title run, just like he did with the Intercontinental title. And I would love to see around, like I said, September, October, November, somewhere in that range, maybe John Cena get a title shot against Gunther, and then face him and obviously lose to Gunther for the title to put Gunther over as somebody who has now put a legend down. And you could even do this if you really wanted to. You could do it kind of towards the beginning, because, like I said, I think Gunther will probably go into 2025 as the champion. So if you wanted to do maybe, John Cena, not that I would want John Cena to win the Royal Rumble, because I think that would take away from somebody else. But to give John Cena a title shot early on, to have him lose and have to have him build back up, I think that would be really cool, and that would kind of solidify Gunther's reign. But it would also put a younger talent over who is already massively over with a lot of fans, would just give him that extra tick in his belt to say, look, not only have I been the longest reigning Intercontinental champion, not only have I been the World Heavyweight champion, I've also beat John Cena. I've beat Seth Rollins, and whoever else that we add to the list between now and then, of just a list of people that Gunther has beaten to solidify how great he is as a champion and as a wrestler, because he is definitely one of the best on the roster right now. But again, it's not the person that I want to see in his last match. So, and I say that because I think in the last match of his career, John Cena should put over somebody that not everybody knows. Somebody that the company sees that could be a future champion, maybe has not been a champion on the main roster. And so for the last one, I've picked Obafemi. A lot of people may not know Obafemi. If you don't watch NXT, Obafemi is currently the North American champion. He's a beast. He just beat Wesley at Heatwave this past Sunday in a really great match where he does some crazy things and throws Wesley around like he's like a rag doll a lot of times, and which he does with a lot of people. He's huge. He's got a ton of charisma. His entrance is really great. He can go in the ring. He's only going to get better because he's only been doing this for a couple of years. And I think having Obafemi come in, in December, if he gets called up anytime during the main roster, or even if John Cena goes down to NXT to end his career, I would be perfectly fine with that on maybe one of NXT's pay-per-views. I would prefer it be on the main roster, but I'd be okay with John Cena going down to NXT just so he could put over some younger talent. And the biggest talent that I think is in NXT right now that is going to be a future Hall of Famer, a future WrestleMania main eventer, is Obafemi. This guy there's a rocket on his back. He's headed so far, so fast. I would imagine by next year's WrestleMania, he will definitely be a champion, which is obviously less than a year away, about 8 months. So to me, I think that makes the most sense for John Cena to go out losing to someone who's a lot younger than Gunther, who's been in this game for a good while. He was in the Indies. He was in NXT UK. He was in NXT. Now he's been in, the main roster for a few years. So he has a lot of experience. So while it would, be a notch on Gunther's belt, this would make Obafemi and create a persona and an aura around Obafemi where it just pushes him to another level. It takes him from somebody who's really great in NXT, or if he's just come up to the main roster, who's up and coming to the main roster, gets in it with John Cena, beats John Cena, and has the same rocket now that you would see someone like a Braun Breaker or like a Gunther has now, and it would just skyrocket his career going forward and push him even further up to that main event status, in my opinion. So there you have it. Those are the top 5 matches I would like to see John Cena have in 2025. Let me know down in the comments if you agree or disagree with any of those. If you have any other suggestions, you can also, like I said, hit me up on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram @_BigMike27. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. We are trying to get to 50 subscribers here on the channel so we can have these live. I'd love to have these live discussions where we can go back and forth. You can give me kind of who you think in the moment. We can put the comments up, get everybody in the wrestling community involved. That's what we're all about here. But that is a little ways away. So just make sure you go in, like, subscribe. Hope everybody has a good day.